Hello there, it is Fee and Zara. We are back again with another episode of The Chef and the Nutritionist. How you doing, Zara?
Good, thanks, Faye. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always fun. I love our little sessions that we get to chit chat about the things that we absolutely love and maybe not love. And today is definitely one of those love-hate relationships when we talk around food labels and food label reading, which I honestly sometimes think when I look in people's trolleys, which I do if I'm in the supermarket, I go, what's in your trolley? I think, man, if you actually read what's in that, I wonder if you would still put it
Mm.
A in your trolley and B in your pantry and C end up putting it in your body. And I think, because it's available, people just kind of think it's safe, it's okay. But we know that there are a few traps to the whole food label industry and what's available out there. So I'm going to dive into sharing a couple of resources first up with our amazing viewers so that they know. So let me just share my screen. And I want to share these with you because these are really, really, are we seeing the right page? We
Yep.
are. Thank you, Zara. So basically these two resources are available. The first from the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, and the second one is from Food Standards Australia. But honestly, if you just go into Google search and put in reading food labels Australia and bring up the images, you're going to find them. So that's your quick way to doing it. And what I love about this is they actually take the time to explain a couple of things. Number one, how to read the nutritional information. And number two, what to look out for. So these are great tools that are readily available. I'd actually take them with you, laminate them, take them to the shopping center with you. Have that with you so that you've got a tool to have there. And the other thing I just want to share with you while we're talking today is I'm just going to bring up these couple of food labels on the screen while we're talking into it, because Zara and I have two different areas to talk to you about today. And so, Zara, when you're looking at these, what are you seeing? What's your thoughts? You're muted. Technical
Sorry.
difficulties. Especially then.
So the first thing I look for when I'm looking at a nutrition label is firstly the ingredients, um, because there are a lot of ingredients in that list that we shouldn't be putting into our bodies. Secondly, the serving size. Um, there is hidden traps in our serving sizes. So, our first column usually is around the 100 gram mark, but we eat more, don't we? Because,
Well,
yeah,
well, we do. And if you just take these two, for
yeah.
example, like seriously, they're saying a serving size of the hummus dip is 20 grams.
Mm,
20
mm.
grams. So that's 2 tablespoons.
Yeah, just a mouthful.
And then good old Cocoa Pops. I like to
Mm,
put Cocoa Pops up here because I absolutely like to pull it to shreds for many
yeah.
reasons. But 30 grams, two
Mm,
thirds of a cup is a serving size of Cocoa Pops. Now, we are definitely not advocating for either of these particular products. They're just good examples of food labels. But 30 grams of Cocoa Pops, I can guarantee you that that's not what most kids are having. What do you reckon?
no way. No way. They're having way more than that, I think.
And if you consider there's 8.7 teaspoons of sugar in that 30-gram serving,
Oh,
that's a lot of sugar, hey. Anyway,
that's a lot of sugar.
sugar till the cows come
Es-
home. What else?
Especially to start the day, like all that sugar first thing in the morning. No,
Yeah, we wonder why we've got issues in classrooms or even
absolutely.
school
Yeah.
or even getting kids out the door into the car. It's a lot of sugar first thing for those poor little microbiomes and their little tummies to be taking on. Um,
Absolutely.
what else are you noticing here with these food labels? What else piques your interest when you're looking at food labels?
Um, if it's made in Australia, I always try and pick Australian made ingredients, Australian made products, but be aware there's a little sign that says made in Australia from at least, this one here says 99% of Australian ingredients. But other products say made from at least 10% of Australian ingredients. So all the rest of the ingredients being imported. So we don't know what we're actually getting.
Very true.
So that's another
quantities. Foods kind of can sink underneath the radar too.
Yeah, that's right. And they have to put that disclaimer up because, yeah, to cover themselves. Another thing I look at is the health star rating. That is a big thing. All your different, your energy and your fats and your sugars and your sodiums.
Yeah.
They're definitely the main things that I look for in a nutrition chart as well. Fat, sugars, and sodium.
Sugars and sodium, yeah. And
yeah,
where I'm looking as well. Sugar, number one. And for those that don't know, the ingredients are listed in order of the quantity. So whatever's up first, that's what there is the most of, and then they'll go down in order of quantity. And yeah, as you said, the fat, sodium, and sugar, that's definitely where I'm looking at. And I've probably got a little bit of a different take on the star rating. Not a fan. Mainly because it's not transparent how it can they can actually get their star rating, and there's a little bit of interesting politics behind that. That's all I'll say. But don't just rely on your star ratings. Definitely want to have a look at that. Now, the RDI from a nutrition perspective, that's definitely something that you want to be having a look at, and remembering that RDI is generally for a healthy adult. Okay, they don't make RDIs based on people with any compromised health conditions or kids. Okay, it's not what they're for. So even when you look at that RDI for sugar, 12%, that would be for an adult. For a kid, it's going to be a little bit different. So just be aware that what the RDIs are saying are not necessarily for purpose built for the population that is consuming the product. So definitely keep an eye on the RDIs. And then what does that even mean? I would actually encourage you, while you're on the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, jump on the nutrition calculators and work out for you personally what are the requirements that you need in your diet of the minerals and protein. It doesn't give you the macro breakdown for your carbs and your fats, but basically your carbs are around 60% of your intake, and good fats around that 20-25%. So you can work that out from how many calories or kilojoules you're supposed to be taking in every day, just to keep an eye on that, because that can be a little bit of a mystery as well, unless you're really clued up on exactly how much of each macro and micronutrient do I need, and am I getting too much of a good thing? Because sometimes too much of anything can be a problem. Sodium's definitely one I want to keep an eye on. Okay, I definitely know that, and sometimes it's not just in the taste. It's a lot of hidden sodium in secret places. They like to hide it, Zara.
They do. They hide it. And I just want to pull apart these Cocoa Pops just a little bit more, because there is another hidden trap. So you look at all the sugars, all the fats, it's bad. But then they go and add all the, all your RDIs at the bottom. Now that's a little bit, okay, it's got good things in it, so it must be good. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe there's a better choice for a breakfast option.
Absolutely. So that's another thing to look out for as well. Like, even though there's these other good things, all your other minerals and vitamins that they show, please keep an eye out on those sugars, because while you're putting all those sugars into your system, it's killing off everything else.
Yeah. And I've said it before, I'm not anti-sugar. Sugars that come from whole foods.
That's right. We do need a little bit. We do need a little bit.
Our brains will stop functioning if we get some sugars, but we can get sugars from our fruits and veg.
Absolutely.
And, our brain likes those natural sugars because they're coming not extracted. They're coming with the whole thing. Like I grow sugar cane, and I love sticking off a bit of sugar cane, having a bite. It's like, but I'm getting the fiber with it. It's not just the sugar rush. I'm actually chewing on getting the whole
Yeah, you're getting other things from other minerals and from the
absolutely
plant. Yeah.
working synergy, like an apple is meant to, like an orange is meant to. It's when we
Yeah.
start juicing and whatever and extracting that's
Refining and
into problems. And of course, in Australia, we have got a rise in childhood diabetes, which is tragic and will be life-changing for the child and their family. But it's about being really aware of where the sugars are coming from. The other thing that I like to talk about is the numbers. And so on the hummus dip, you'll see it's got the preservative 223. And a lot of foods will have numbers attached to them. Now, from a very early age, I taught my children how to use an app called The Chemical Maze. It's an Australian app, and I absolutely love it because you can put any ingredient that you can't pronounce or any number from an additive into the chemical maze, and it will come up with, it's a bit of a red light, a traffic light system. It'll give you a green smiley face, a yellow, yeah, I'm not so impressed, and then a red angry face if it's really not for good for you. Now, the other thing it will tell you is where else they use that particular chemical, and often it's in cosmetics and petrol and oil and, you know, all sorts of exciting places where they like to hide these chemicals, but they're in our food too. And having that on your phone, I know as a mum, what I loved about it is I would take Jude shopping, my youngest, and he would say, oh, so-and-so had such and such in a lunchbox on, and I'd just go, well, go and check out what numbers are on it. And then he'd take the phone and he'd go and find the packet and he'd come back without the thing. Yes,
amazing.
So, you know, teaching your kids early, not just no, you can't have it, it's got bad stuff in it, but actually download the app and show them that, you know, it's also in petrol or it's also in something else. So they start to get an understanding. I think it's a really good education tool for any age.
Absolutely. Kids love learning. Like, that's a great tool.
It is a great tool. It is a great tool. And yeah, I think it's, you know, and of course, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, we don't have labels, right? We don't have, you know, how many carbs, how much protein, you know, is in a specific, you know, in the aisles that you should be in, the outside aisles. Those things aren't coming with the labels because they're whole foods, and I think that's a really important thing to be aware of. Any closing words from you, Zara? Apart from, do you know what I'd say? Make your own hummus.
Absolutely, make your own. It's the one thing that I love being a chef. I understand ingredients well enough that I can just create a recipe. But if you know, everyone can cook. If you can read a recipe, you can cook. But just be mindful of the ingredients that you're using and always read your labels. I go to the shops now knowing exactly what I'm buying because I know exactly what's in that product. So maple syrup, I know exactly what maple syrup I want. There's 20 other different ones there, but I know what I want, and it cuts my shopping time down as well. So yeah, just
The other
makes
good
life
thing you
so
can
much
do
easy.
around the whole labels thing is jump on Woolies or Coles online. You can actually zone in on the labels and read the labels before you go to the shops. So if you do know what you need for a particular recipe and it's not something that you're overly familiar with, take 5 minutes and look online if you want to save time at the shops. But, you know, definitely having a closer look and doing some comparison is definitely the key.
Absolutely. It's so worth it.
It is. So I think we have put a nice little bow on food labels. Hopefully you've got something out of that. For our amazing listeners, we hope that you have learnt something, and definitely jump onto the Australian Guide for Healthy Eating and Food Standards Australia New Zealand for ZANS to download those tools, which are really helpful as well, and start teaching the family all the tricks. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Faye. See you next time.
See ya.
Bye, guys.